Okay guys, Swiss Moise di learn Python di nada sana. Actually, in this session we are going to learn how to deploy Django web application on Apache web server. So before we proceed, make sure that mod WSJ on Apache is installed and is enabled. So run this command. So as you can see, this module is installed and it is enabled. So before we proceed, as we are going to deploy Django by using mod WSGI, make sure this module is installed. You can follow a lot of guideline online like this. This command actually works. It actually install mod WSJ on Apache. After that, check if it is enabled. If it is not enabled, there is a command to enable mod WSJ on Apache. But before we proceed, make sure this module is enabled. Let me show you the version of my server. I'll show you the version of Python I'm using, because when dealing with Python, the issue of version is very important to put into consideration. So here I start to display the version of my server. I'm using Ubuntu server. So here you can see I'm using Ubuntu 2022 Ubuntu server. So that's it. The next thing I'm going to show you is the version of my Python. Once I run command Python, you can see Python not found because in my Ubuntu server 2022, Python 2 is not installed. Once I run Python 3, you can see the version of my Python is 3.10.6. After checking out the version of the server and the version of Python, the next thing is to check the version of Apache. You can see Apache web server version is 2.4.52, and once I come here on a web server and I type my IP address, let me refresh. No worry, IP address is hidden for security purpose, okay? But here you can see Ubuntu. The server is Ubuntu server, right? And this is the version of Apache, okay? You can see the version of Apache and this is Ubuntu server. So here we go. At the end of this session, you will be able to see your Django web application running on this page, okay? So what I'll be doing here is just to refresh. Okay, let's get back on our server. First of all, if you have not installed the visual environment, make sure you install visual environment. I'll pick 3 lists to show you the version of visual environment I have installed. You can see the version of visual environment I have installed is 20.16.6. After that, let me ls to see the folder present here. You can see there is only one folder, which is named backup. Don't care about the name and the content within the directory. If you can see, this is my current directory. So I'm at opt directory, which is present at the root of my Ubuntu server. So after that, we are going to create a visual environment. Okay, there are different ways to create a visual environment, but I choose to use this, okay? I choose to use sudo because visual environment will create folder or will create a directory on this path. Because it is going to create a directory, I hope it will use mkdir, which is command for creating directory. You can see our visual environment is successfully created. Let us change the permission recursively. Let us change the permission recursively of our visual environment, so as the folder I mean the visual environment itself, subfolder, and the files within the visual environment will be writable, because in the near future we are going to start installation of Django and the different packages in the visual environment. After that, let us activate the visual environment. Then after, we are going to install Django inside of our visual environment. Now we have successfully activated the visual environment. Before we proceed, let's check out the packages, I mean custom packages installed inside of a visual environment. You can see no package is installed inside of a visual environment. So let us install Django. You can see Django 4.13 is successful installed in our visual environment. And once we try out to see the list of packages installed in our visual environment, you can see Django is one among them. You can see Django is successful installed. Since Django is successful installed, the next thing we are going to do here is we are going to create a Django project. So sudo Django admin start project Motec. After that, you can see project Motec is successful created. So before we run this application, I mean before we run, first of all, let us cd change directory to Motec. Okay, let us do one thing here. Let us run migration. So let me say sudo python 3 manage.py make migrations. No changes. Let us run another command, migrate. We have successful run migration, and db.sqlite3 file is created, is successful. Perfect. After that, let us change the permission of our project. So we can do something like this: shmod recursive 77 Motec. Perfect. After that, let us change the ownership of this project folder to Apache user, because we are going to deploy Django web application on Apache, so we'll need user Apache to access the files. So the command is change on. Okay, the user is www.data. The group is the group and the user is www.data. Press enter. We are good. Let us check the user. Now you can see now the user owner, and the user group is data, is www hyphen data, which is user Apache. Before, the user owner and the group owner was root. Okay, we are good. Now let us change the directory to Motec. Inside, let us run command python 3 manage py check. Check if there is an error. No issue. Let us run this Django server. Run server. You can see it's okay. Let us control C to terminate the process. Okay, let us do one thing here. Anyways, let us proceed. So after that, we needed to move on Apache, okay, so as we can be able to deploy Django on Apache. Before we go there, once I refresh here, you can see nothing. Okay, nothing. Okay, so what I can do here, cd etc apache 2, perfect. You can see there is this file. So this is default Apache configuration file, which is executed once you have deployed a single web application on Apache. I mean, if your server has no virtual hosting, okay, so this is a file which we are going to set up. But if it is a virtual hosting, that's another case, and I hope I'll create a tutorial for that. Perfect. So after that, let us start to edit this file. Okay, so quick one. Okay, I say directory. I'll open directory here, but also here I'll close directory. Motec because it's the project name, then followed with Motec. Okay. What you want to do here is to find the path of we want to find the path of WSGI. Okay. But before we proceed, I'll need to show you something here. Okay, there is something I've forgotten to show you. Open file. So after that is WSGI daemon process. The process name is Motec. Okay, the Python path. This is the path of my project, is Motec. And there is Python home, which is the path of virtual environment I have installed the packages. Another command is WSGI process group. Okay, is Motec. Another command is wsgi script areas. So I think now we are done. Let us Control S to save the changes. Okay, we need to check the if the Apache configuration are right. So the command is sudo apache no worry, let us restart Apache. Perfect. Let us go on our browser, refresh. Wow, you can see now. Let me copy this IP address, and it is hidden for security purpose, and I paste it somewhere. Control X, then Y to save the changes. After that, check if Apache configuration are okay. Then after, restart your Apache. Perfect. After that, refresh your browser. You can see we have successful deployed Django on Apache web server in Ubuntu server 2020. As I've told you that um, if you're using Apache, if you're using, in short, if you're using Ubuntu 20, if you're using Ubuntu 2018 and Apache 2.4, some things are different. There is a bit something are not the same. That's why before I started to lecture this tutorial, I showed you the version of my Apache, the version of my Ubuntu server, the version of my Python, and everything, because version is one of thing to consider. There is a way you can configure how to fetch static files. Okay, you can configure static files and media files /static, then the path of static files. Let me say motec, then let me say static. Okay, here you can specify directory. I'd like to copy this. Here you can specify the directory, which is motec static. You may say static, whatever you may say, static files. Maybe here static files, right? Then remove this file. But also you may want to set the media file, I mean the file you are uploading. May do something like this. Perfect. What changes here is This should be media. Perfect. And here should be media. Here you can put static, or you can put static files. Control S to save the changes. Asante sana, thank you very much, merci beaucoup, muchas gracias, muito obrigado. If you find out this tutorial awesome or useful, don't forget to like, put comment, share to your colleague, but do not forget to subscribe so as you can be updated timely when we upload a new video. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next tutorial.